Hi, my name is Andrew. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. And this video is a focus on USA seed capital investors, and it is part of a video series that I will be having in the next few weeks on company profiles of over 570 seed capital investors in the USA. So if you're looking to do fundraising for the first time, this is a great resource for you. A bit of information about myself. I'm a fundraising strategist with 15 years of experience in high-end real estate sales and marketing, spanning Canada, Dubai, and the Caribbean. And over the past 2 years on Fiverr, I've assisted over 200 clients with startup fundraising, pitch deck refinement, investor outreach strategies, and custom investor databases. In addition, I'm an advisor to a New York-based investment company affiliated with a $60 billion fund. The fund focuses on various sectors, particularly income-producing real estate, with capital requirements for projects typically ranging from $10 to $20 million. These projects are selected based on their cash flow and growth potential, and you get more information about my service by clicking my Fiverr link below. This video highlights Elevate Capital in Oregon, and they are one of 570 seed capital angel groups in my exclusive fundraising database to help you raise capital for your startup. Company snapshot: they're based in Portland, Oregon. They're classified as an investment company and a venture capital firm. Their key sectors include technology, healthcare, SAS, and the distinct benefit for startups: they're suitable for early stage tech startups seeking funding and strategic support. Let's look at their company focus, investor approach, and strategy. Elevate Capital, headquartered in Portland, Oregon, operates as an inclusive venture capital fund, addressing the investment gap for underserved entrepreneurs. The firm seizes the opportunity to invest early and provide mentorship to empower these visionaries in transforming their startups into thriving companies. Investment focus: Elevate Capital uniquely positions itself as the nation's first institutional venture capital fund, specifically targeting underserved entrepreneurs, including women, ethnic minorities, and those with limited regional access to capital. Through two specialized investment vehicles, the Inclusive Fund and the Capital Fund II, Elevate Capital addresses different stages and scopes of underrepresented founders locally and nationally in technology and healthcare. Team expertise: Elevate Capital expertise lies in recognizing the untapped potential within underserved communities. The firm's commitment goes beyond traditional venture capital, offering mentorship and targeting funding to support diverse founders at various stages of their entrepreneurial journey. Through its inclusive funds and strategic partnerships, Elevate Capital aims to bridge the innovation and opportunity gaps, fostering a more diverse and equitable startup ecosystem. So they're a great venture capital firm. If you're looking at tech, SAS, healthcare, those fields, and they're one of the key ones in my database if you are just starting out and looking for under $100,000, $150,000. Let's look at some of their previous investments. One of the key benefits of my database is it includes tips for investor outreach. And I specifically created it for first-time fundraisers. And there's no database like that. There's no database that has these tips in as part of the Excel spreadsheet. You're going to see this coming up a little bit later on in the video. I'm going to show you how I've done this for all 570 companies. Now, these are not to be carved in stone, but these are just to allow you to think a little bit about how you're going to communicate with different groups and touch points, because it's really key that you start to initiate outreach well before you need the funds. So what does that mean? Well, the average fundraising campaign usually is around 6 to 9 months, and that's if you're successful. If you're unsuccessful, usually you're going to have to drag it on a little bit longer, and that's a long time to concentrate your resources and your energy into fundraising. And part of the reason for that is it takes you so long to develop the contacts and then reach out to them. It's not hard to write email letters, but what's really hard is to do the work that takes to formulate each letter in a custom way. The average venture capital firm or angel group, and my database is full of them, and that's perfect for you if you're looking to raise pre-seed capital. They're going to receive 100, sometimes 150 pitch decks every day. Yes, that's every day, and I've seen it in real life. So what you want to do is make sure that you're not one of those that's sending it as your first contact, because it's not going to resonate well, and you've got to be really, really superb, or in a lot of cases, they're just going to fall through the cracks, because many of them are not even pitch decks that are well written, and you're going to see I have a pitch deck review service as well. So how do you stand out? Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to have some key outreach touch points. And I've done this for, let's say you have a direct known contact and it's part of the spreadsheet, or maybe you found a contact, or maybe you want to approach them via LinkedIn, which is another way to contact people. And as part of your message, you could say, Elevate has a track record of supporting ventures with strategic backing. We're keen to discuss how our new venture fits into your investment portfolio. So if somebody receives that, they're going to know it's not just a spam cut and paste, sending the same message to 570 contacts. And that does happen, by the way. There are many people who just send the same stuff. So the messages start to sound all the same. So whoever receives that's going to know it's genuine, and the odds are they're going to send you back a message, because that's going to be your second line, by the way. Your first line is going to be, hi, it's so-and-so. I'm the founder of ABC firm, and we're in this sector. This is your second line here, this one I've just shown you. And then your third one would say, who would be a good person to contact? Boom, 3 sentences, no attachments, no pitch decks, no teasers, nothing. You're just touching base. Now, what about the next line? What happens if you don't know who to contact? Well, in many cases, a venture capital or an angel group on a website, it doesn't have a contact. It might just have info at, or it might even just have one of those forms where you put in the subject and then the next box is send us your message. So you've got to be a little more creative, but that's not a bad thing, because the subject heading in this case should be inquiry regarding seed capital opportunities with Elevate Capital, and then your key initial email approach line may include, our startup aligns with your investment philosophy. Could you guide us to the person or team responsible for evaluating seed capital opportunities that fit your investment criteria? Boom, done. Now, whoever receives that, let's say it's somebody in the admin or HR, they're going to forward that to the person that it should be forwarded to. In other words, it's not going to go to the founder. It's not going to go to a chairman. It's going to go to somebody at an intermediate level, and that's their job, is to be the first line of contact with you when you're starting to raise funds. Now, the good point is you're going to do that 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months after you formed your company. Yes, that early. You're not going to wait till you need the funds, because then the drag happens. If you were to send every single contact in my database of 570 contacts, and again, you're going to see the spreadsheet coming up in a bit, do 2 a week for 6 to 9 months, all of a sudden you're going to have a little over 100 people who have said, yes, I'm interested, let me know when you're ready to raise. And that's perfect, because you want to start to build up a history of contact with venture capital firms and angel groups over the growth of your company. In other words, people are going to change in these firms from time to time, so you're going to want to have 2 or 3 at each, and that's not a bad thing. You're going to be asking them for advice. You're going to be asking them if there's other people in the company that could help us out in their sector, because some of the people that you contact are dedicated to certain sectors in a venture capital group, especially if it's a large one. So you want to make sure that you're contacting a couple people over the time. Now, this prepares you for the more efficient fundraising campaign, and that's when the time is right. This is the best strategy for you to prepare for that point in time when you're going to be ready to send your pitch deck out, and by that way, that's your best approach to raising capital as a startup, especially if it's seed capital. This is the type of seed capital angel group you can find in my exclusive guide. I created this exclusive database to help founders reach out to seed and angel investors with confidence. There is no other resource like it, period. So let's take a look at the database. So now we're over on the database section. So this is the seed capital and angel group investor database. And as you can see on the top here, it has 570 contacts. And total investments for this group is over 37,000 in the past few years. This is the best source of seed capital that you're going to find, and this was handpicked from me from my database of over 400,000 contacts. So this is not a database that you can scrape off the internet because they have all been verified. These are all companies that deal in seed capital, so you can be sure that if that is the type of funds that you're looking for, this is the great source for you, not only in the very beginning of your company stages, but as you move along the line. The purpose of this database is to actually use as a contact for when you first get your company ready and rolling, and you can say to them, I am a founder in the tech space or whatever space you're in, and you want to make initial contacts in the very beginning. So that's the beauty of this type of list. If you're thinking about fundraising, you should not think about sending out your outreach emails when you're looking for the funds. You should be thinking about that 1-2 years beforehand, where you start to make contacts with these key groups, because that's the best way for you to build at least a connection with not only the one member, could be multiple members of the team. And keep in mind that the people in the teams will always change over time unless they're the founders and the principals. So let's just take a quick look at this here. So you're going to get the company names, you're going to get the cities, and again, this is a USA list. These are all either venture capital or angel groups. And there could be some family investment offices, but they're really focused on micro venture capital, and angel groups, because those are the ones that look at allocating funds for startups, and you can usually look at anywhere from around $100,000 to around $500,000, sometimes up to $1 million for these type of groups. And that's why they have been collected in this particular database, because it doesn't make sense for you to start to look at databases that have growth capital. In other words, firms that are looking to finance you in your third or fourth raise, or databases that have private equity that aren't going to lend to a startup. So that's why I've spent over 150 hours minimum working on this database. In fact, I've been working on this database for a few years, but it was just finally some interest in clients where to connect both angel groups and venture capital groups that are seed capital. What's an angel group? Very simple. If you're looking to approach angel investors, the easiest way is to actually do it by contacting angel groups. An angel group is a firm that is founded and has sometimes 50, 100, 200, maybe even more individual angel investors as part of that group. And what it does, it helps them organize potential investment opportunities that come across their desk, so that they can present it to the group as a whole or to individuals that may be in that group. So in other words, this particular database has thousands and thousands and thousands of individual angel investors, but you do not have to contact them one by one. You can do that by simply going into the groups that are composed of angel investors. This database is also very unique because in some cases I've already identified key contacts for you. Now the reason I have not done this for all the contacts is very simple. Throughout the life of your group, and even through your contacts when you're doing your fundraising, you're going to approach different people. For example, if it's a principal or a founder, those are great contacts if you're ready to start raising funds. But if you're just starting out your group, you may want to look at approaching associates or whoever might be that first contact, and that helps you build your contact within that group up as your company grows. And it's really, really important, because then you never have to be in a scenario where you're looking at firms that only are looking at warm introductions. Most of these, and in fact over 95% of them, you do not need to have a previous contact with someone. So what have I done to include? And another key thing is they all are either going to have their company emails, in other words, info at, contact at, or you will submit your information on a forum on their website. It's very common for venture capital and angel groups, instead of having an email address, to have a forum where you'll submit your information. You do not have to submit your pitch deck. In fact, in the very beginning of your approach to companies, I would suggest you not using a pitch deck. You could use bullet points or an executive summary, but leave the pitch deck for when you're looking to start to raise funds. So what makes this database unique is I've included the key outreach touch points. In other words, if you have a direct contact that you've known, then there's some key words here that you can use in your particular letter. And that really kind of helps you get started. In other words, I'm not writing the letters for you. I do have that service on Fiverr if you're interested. But for example, this one here says Helios Capital is recognized for its strategic investments in diverse sectors. Let's discuss the potential synergies between our new venture and your investment approach. So that's a good line to put in as what I would call a second sentence in your letter. So I've done that for all 570. I've added some key points about their group so that you actually make it look like it's customized. You should not spam these type of venture capital and angel groups with your message, because it won't work. They get hundreds and hundreds of emails a day, and yes, that means hundreds and hundreds of potential people who are looking to raise funds, and it's best that you go in with an approach where it's customized. So that's really, really important, and that's why I've devised this database. There is no other database like this on the market, no one else, and there's many firms and high profile companies that allow you access to databases. In other words, you've got to pay a subscription. You might be allowed to contact 100 firms in a month. This is more refined. In other words, I've done the heavy lifting for you. I've devoted the hours so that you don't have to do it. So the second part of this is, because you are going to use this database in the very beginning and early days, you're going to want to be able to contact somebody in the very early stages, and you may not know them. The reason you may not know them is because in some cases venture capital firms will list their employees and their LinkedIn addresses. Okay, so that's really key, but in some cases you won't. So I actually suggest, and I've already done the work for you, is that you send them a letter seeking information on who might be a good contact. For example, this one here, the subject is inquiry regarding investment opportunities, seeking the right contact. So that will be the body of your email. And then I have added what's called the second sentence, and it says, as we explore potential investment avenues, we believe our venture aligns with Pipeline Ventures investment criteria. Could you assist us in identifying the appropriate contact for further discussions? Now, the reason I've put that type of strategy in here is, if you send this to info at, or if you send this to admin, they're going to pass it. They're going to do two things. They're going to probably pass it on to the appropriate party, or they're going to send you back a polite message saying, yes, you can contact so-and-so with your opportunity. They'll do that because that's their job. That's what they're there for. I've really made that clear. I have other investor databases. For example, I just created one for the Middle East where I have almost all the HR contacts. So in that way, an HR contact is never going to delete an email like that, because that's not their job. Their job is to facilitate these type of introductions and making sure they get to the right person. So the beauty of this is, if it's a venture capital or angel group firm, let's say they've got a founder, a couple principals, they may have 3 or 4 associates or people who analyze investments. That's who this particular contact is going to be made with, and it's great because that's who you want your initial contact with. You want to be able to make that initial contact with somebody at a lower level, introducing yourself, and maybe arranging a meeting or a Zoom call to see how you can align your company with them for when it comes down to the point where you're going to do fundraising. People should think about that when they're doing their fundraising, is treat it like a business development exercise. So that is the database of venture capital, seed venture capital, and angel groups in the USA for the initial stages of your fundraising. My master database has over 400,000 verified global contacts. That includes angel investors, family investment offices, pension funds, hedge funds, private equity databases, REITs, premium high net worth and ultra high net worth Middle East investors database, venture capital lists and investment banks. I also help clients with pitch deck reviews and corporate fundraising presentations. If you're getting ready to send your presentation out to investors, send it to me. I will take a look at it. Approximately 80% of the presentations I see are not suitable to be sent out to investors. I have a service on Fiverr that will help fix that. Just click my Fiverr link below for more information. For more information on my databases and fundraising services, click my Fiverr link below. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.